What if a city had no roads, no cars, and no pollution? What if it ran on AI and stretched across the desert in a straight line? That's NEOM, a $500 billion dream by Saudi Arabia. It promised a better future, but is it already falling apart? Let's take a closer look. This is built to collapse. Like the video, subscribe, and stay with us for more big dreams and bigger problems. The big vision. What is NEOM? In 2017, Saudi Arabia's crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, made a big announcement. He shared a bold new idea, NEOM, a high-tech city that would be built from nothing, right in the middle of the desert. But this wouldn't be just any city. It would run on clean energy only, it would have robots doing everyday tasks, and artificial intelligence would control almost everything. He said it would be a big step forward for all of humanity. The name NEOM means new future. It was meant to be the most advanced city in the world, a place for smart minds, big dreams, and new ideas. A city where the old rules didn't matter. And at the center of it all would be something called the line. The line, a city with no roads. The line was the most eye-catching part of NEOM. It was the idea that got the most attention and also the most questions. The plan was to build a city in a straight line, 170 kilometers long, but it would only be 200 meters wide and as tall as a skyscraper, 500 meters high. Everything like homes, shops, schools, and parks would be stacked on top of each other. The skyscrapers would be stacked on top of each other. There would be no cars, no roads, and no traffic at all. Instead, a super-fast train would run from one end to the other in just 20 minutes. It sounds amazing at first, but here's the problem. It would be built in the middle of a desert, far from everything, near the Red Sea. And the cost? Over $500 billion. Still, the Saudi government believed in it and decided to go all in. More than just a line, other NEOM projects, but the line was only one part of a much bigger plan. NEOM was supposed to include several zones, each with a special purpose. Oxagon, a floating city on the Red Sea. Shaped like an octagon, it was meant to be the world's largest floating structure, a place for industry, trade, and high-tech factories. Ryugyong, a mountain resort with snow in the desert. Yes, real snow, with ski slopes, luxury hotels, and even a man-made lake. Sindala, a luxury island for rich tourists, with golf courses, fancy yachts, and expensive shopping. All of this powered by wind, solar, and green hydrogen, with AI controlling everything from transportation to health to security. It sounded amazing. But was it realistic? The current status, what's really happening? Now it's 2025, 8 years since NEOM was first announced, so how much has actually been built? Honestly, not much. Most of NEOM is still just empty desert. Only a small part of the line has been started. Just a few kilometers of foundation have been dug so far. Oxagon, the floating port, is still being worked on, but it's nowhere near floating yet. Trojan, the mountain resort, is under construction, and they hope to finish it before the 2029 Asian Winter Games. Sindala, the luxury island, might open soon, but even that is moving slowly. At the beginning, Saudi Arabia said that by 2030 the line would have 1.5 million people living in it. But now, new reports say maybe only 30,000 people will live there by then. So the big question is, what went wrong? The cracks begin to show. Cost overload. NEOM is insanely expensive. The original price tag was $500 billion. But the true cost might be even more. Saudi Arabia has been spending heavily on construction, marketing, and hiring. But oil prices are shaky, and the kingdom needs money for other projects too. This mega dream is burning cash fast. Engineering nightmares. Building a 500-meter tall wall in the desert is not easy. You need to flatten mountains, handle extreme heat, design new infrastructure from scratch, transport materials across empty land. Even top engineers are scratching their heads. Labor problems. The project needs thousands of workers, but reports say working conditions are tough. Long hours, harsh climate, low pay. Worse, there are serious human rights concerns. A tribe called the Hawatat was removed from the land to make space for NEOM. One man who protested was reportedly killed by Saudi forces. Others were jailed. So while NEOM is sold as a city of the future, it's already facing problems from the past. Environmental concerns. NEOM says it will be green and good for the environment, but many environmental experts don't agree. They say that building NEOM is already hurting nature. A lot of land is being cleared and natural homes are being destroyed. In some places, mountains are being cut down to make space for the line. And the huge mirrored wall planned for the city might confuse birds and other wildlife that live in the desert. Even though NEOM plans to use solar and wind energy, some people believe the damage to the land and animals has already begun. Too much tech? NEOM says that artificial intelligence, AI, will control the whole city. At first, that might sound exciting and modern, but it also brings up some serious questions. Will people still have privacy? Will there be cameras and face recognition everywhere? And most importantly, who will be in charge of the AI? In a country like Saudi Arabia, where people don't have full freedom to speak or protest, some worry that this technology could be used to watch and control people instead of making life easier. Critics speak out. Built to collapse? Many experts are now wondering if NEOM can even be built the way it was promised. They say the plan is too big, moving too fast, and not very realistic. Some people call it a billionaire's dream, something created to impress, not to solve real problems. Others say the design itself doesn't make much sense. A tall, narrow city might look futuristic, but living in it could feel crowded and strange. Then there's the question, who really wants to move to the middle of a desert, into a city that isn't even finished? People also point to other megaprojects like Masdar City in the UAE, which had big dreams too, but didn't turn out as planned. And maybe the biggest issue of all is time. Saudi Arabia said NEOM would be ready by 2030, but that's only 5 years from now, and most of it is still just sand. What does Saudi Arabia say? The Saudi government still supports NEOM and hasn't given up on it. They say it's an important part of their Vision 2030 plan, which is about moving away from oil and building a stronger, modern economy. They hope NEOM will bring tourists, tech companies, and attention from around the world. They're still spending billions of dollars on it, but quietly, they've started to slow things down. At first, they said 1.5 million people would live in the line by 2030. Now, they're only aiming for a few tens of thousands. It seems like they're starting to understand that this big dream could take many more years, or maybe it might never fully come true. The bigger picture, why this matters. NEOM is not just about building a new city. It's about how we imagine the future, how we use technology, design, and big ideas to change the way we live. But it also brings up some deep and serious questions. Can we really build a perfect city from nothing? Should we focus on creating futuristic places, or should we fix the cities we already have? And what happens when people's rights and nature are pushed aside to make a dream come true? NEOM was sold as a symbol of hope and progress. But now, it's also showing us how difficult it is to turn big dreams into real life. Final thoughts. NEOM started as a big dream, and dreaming big isn't a bad thing. But a real city needs more than robots and shiny glass walls. It needs people, families, nature, life. Right now, NEOM is still just desert, and a lot of money buried under the sand. Will it ever be finished, or was it never meant to work? What do you think? Would you live in a place like this? Is it the future, or just a huge mistake? Tell us in the comments, we'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoy stories like this, big promises, bold ideas, and the truth behind them, subscribe to Built to Collapse. Hit the like button and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching and stay curious.